Hello and most welcome to 895. I will do a little thing with Robert Lanza here, since that was a request of Lars Landström for tomorrow's great get-together. He writes from his book Space and Time that modern physics has become like Jonathan Swift's The Island of Laputa, and this is flying absurdly on an island above the earth and indifferent to what is beneath. When science then tries to resolve its conflict by adding and subtracting dimensions to the universe, like houses on a monopoly board, we need to look at our dogmas and recognize that there are cracks in the system. And they are just the points that let the light shine more directly on the mystery of life. The urgent and primary questions of the universe have been undertaken by those physicists who are trying to explain the origins of everything with a grand unifying theory. But as exciting and glorious as these theories are, they are an evasion, if not a reversal of the central mystery of knowledge, that the laws of the world were somehow created to produce the observer. And more important than this, that the observer is, in a significant sense, sorry about that. It is the Laputa of the modern science. It's way too far from our own experience. And everything has gone haywire, according to Robert Lanza. Modern science don't explain why the laws of physics are exactly balanced for animal life to exist. For example, if the Big Bang had been 1 part of a billion more powerful, it would have rushed out too fast to the galaxies to form and for life to begin. If the strong nuclear force were decreased by 2%, atomic nuclei wouldn't hold together. Hydrogen would be the only atom in the universe if gravitational force were decreased. Stars, including the Sun, would not ignite. These are just 3 of more than 200 physical parameters within the solar system, and the universe so exact that they cannot be random. Well, I can't help myself. I need to put in a deconstruction. How can we say which started with which? Was the law that started the universe, or is it the universe that starts the law? And or are both actually allowed at the very same time? Does it need to be one before the other? Cannot it be that they come exactly simultaneously, in an hour? Our sense, I continue here, our sense of forward motion of time is really the result of an infinite number of decisions that only seem to be a smooth, continuous path. At each moment we are at the edge of the paradox known as the arrow. You're well familiar with that. It's once more the famous philosopher Zenon of Elea. Starting logically with the premise that nothing can be in 2 places at once, he reasoned that an arrow is only in one place during any given instance of its flight. But if it is only one place, it must be at rest. The arrow must be at rest at every moment of its flight. Logically, motion is impossible. But is motion impossible? Or rather, is this analogy proof that the forward motion of time is not a feature of the external world, but a projection of something within us? Time is not an absolute reality, but an aspect of our consciousness. This paradox lies at the heart of one of the great revolutions of the 20th century. A revolution that has yet to take hold on our understanding of the world, and the decisive role that consciousness plays in determining the nature of reality. We'll go further in his other book, A New Theory of Universe. He's a very prolific writer, this Robert Lanza. Well, he mentioned here in the beginning, we cannot know with complete accuracy a quantum particle's motion and its position at the same time, whatever that means. We have to choose one or the other. Thus, the consciousness of the observer is decisive in determining what a particle does at a given moment. And what is this participation of the observer? Einstein was frustrated by the threat of quantum uncertainty to the hypothesis he called space-time, and space-time turned out to be incompatible with the world that observers could slice up reality in past, present and future in different ways, all with equal reality. But what exactly is being sliced up? Yeah, it's actually a rather good question. Space and time are not stuff that can be brought back to the laboratory in a marble jar for analysis. In fact, space and time fall into the province of biology, of animal sense perception, not of physics. They are properties of the mind, of the language by we human beings and animals represent things to ourselves. Physics venture beyond the scope of their science, beyond the limits of material phenomena and law, when they try to assign physical, mathematical and other qualities to space and time. Return to the revelation that we are thinking animals and that the material world is the elusive substratum of our conscious activity, continually defining and redefining the real. We must become skeptical of the hard reality of our most cherished conception of space and time, and of the very notion of an external reality, in order to recognize that it is the activity of consciousness itself, born of our biological cells, which in some sense create the world. How on earth do we know that consciousness lies in the biological sphere that we are in? I don't know that. It doesn't say here. It'd be lovely to deconstruct Robert Lanza rather than actually reading him out loud. But he seemed to assume certain things that could be put into question. And one of those things is, how on earth should we know that space and time lies within biological life? It is very hard to tell where it lies within. And that they should be constructs only of consciousness. I seriously... It could be very hard to get that together. It is most probably, as I would say, both. And I don't see any exclusion that is completely coming from biological life, but it as always also could be stemming from external sources. Although we don't define exactly what that external is in the sense of absolute polarities. And all of a sudden that ceases in, to some extent, to be a big problem. Actually, it was quite interesting, this. I'm going to dwell more into this. I wanted it only to be a very, very short introduction to biocentrism by Robert Lanza, and an incredibly short summary that doesn't do justice to his rather interesting ideas is that it means that space and time are stemming from biological life. And since the universe constructed biological life, there is a reason for us having those things. Okay, I say thank you very much, and I bid you a very pleasant afternoon. Bye bye.